All right, so we have one more group of mollusks to cover, and that's the chitons. You might recall seeing the chitons in lab last week when we were together. They were in jars, and you might remember them as being the mollusks that have the 8 plates on their back. So, dorsal shell of 8 plates. That's the characteristic, along with the ventral muscular foot. You'll also see a mouth, a ventral mouth with a radula. And many chitons graze on seaweeds and small invertebrates commonly found on rocky shores. So that's typically where you go to look for these guys, is there on the rocks. Beautiful little creatures, little mollusks with 8 dorsal plates on their back. Okay, so now that gets us into a whole nother group of invertebrates, and these are the arthropods. So the arthropods are really diverse. This is a very, very large phylum of animals. It includes insects, crustaceans, spiders, a whole lot of organisms. But here are their basic characteristics. So, jointed legs and other appendages. So here we're going to see jointed legs. And another really cool thing about the arthropods is that they have an exoskeleton. And that exoskeleton is made of chitin material. But it's a skeleton on the outside, exoskeleton, just like insects. Remember, insects are arthropods, very successful on the land. Insects are very diverse. And if you think about them, you might even kind of relate to their exoskeleton. And their exoskeleton, that shell that they have, think of beetles with their hard shells. That exoskeleton, they have to molt it and grow a brand new one. So this exoskeleton does not grow with them like our internal skeleton does. So they molt by shedding their exoskeleton. Their body is divided into 3 parts typically. So the head, the thorax as the middle part, and then the abdomen is the final segment. And here's a really cool video I think that you will enjoy. It's on the marine arthropods, and it's pretty cool. The link to it is in this module. If you go to the page that has the video links, then here's that second video link. It's titled Marine Arthropods. Like I said, I think you'll really enjoy it. So if you want to just pause this and go check that out now, that'll be just fine. Okay, so crustaceans. Now, hopefully you've got a chance to see the video on the arthropods, and one of the largest groups of arthropods in the marine system, so dominant in the marine system, are copepods, barnacles, isopods, amphipods, shrimp, lobster, and crab. Okay, so here you have a coloring sheet. So one of your coloring sheets should be titled Small Crustaceans. And so let's take a look at that coloring sheet to see what all their features are that they have, so that you know what you want to be able to identify and what to pay attention to while you're taking notes and doing your reading. Okay, so what's interesting about marine arthropods in comparison to insects, the land, one of the land arthropods, is that they have 2 pairs of antennae instead of 1. Insects on terrestrial insects have 1 pair of antennae, but In the crustaceans, we see two pairs of antennae. They also have gills that are used for gas exchange. So gills will, much like the gills we've already seen, will be able to exchange gas to get the oxygen so they can undergo cellular respiration. They have a head and a thorax that is fused, and so this is referred to as a cephalothorax, and it's typically covered by a carapace. And so again, there's that shell, that exoskeleton that they have. Some are filter feeders, others are scavengers, some are parasites, some are carnivores. There's just so much diversity in this group that we see diversity in their modes of life as well. So being a filter feeder, or scavenging off the ground, or being a parasite, actually living at the expense of somebody else, you're parasitic to them, and a carnivore, you're out hunting. They have appendages that are specialized for different functions, such as feeding, swimming, carrying eggs. So just taking a look at your coloring sheet, look at the picture of the small crustaceans, and you'll see the appendages, so their legs. Some are going to be used for feeding, some are used for swimming, some are used for carrying eggs. If you look at the decopods, which has the crabs and the shrimp and the lobster, they've got legs, or they've got these appendages, not legs, but appendages that are for carrying their eggs. So pretty cool. And then male sperm is transferred directly to female to ensure reproductive success. So instead of that broadcast kind of releasing your gametes into the water, here we're going to see a more concentrated effort to make sure that reproduction is successful. So the males are going to transfer sperm directly to the females. So here's a picture of a copepod. This comes right out of your textbook, and it's also right there on your coloring sheet. So if you look at your coloring sheet of small crustaceans, in the upper right hand corner is a drawing of the copepod. So they're a very important part of the plankton. So a big part in the food web at that very primary level. And you can see that first set of antennae is very long, and it helps to filter and capture food. Okay, so here's the barnacles. The barnacles are also on your sheet there. And so as you're reading about them, then you can see that these guys are sessile, right? They're attached to the rocks, but know that they have a larval stage, and their larval stage is free swimming. So if you look in your textbook, there's a nice diagram. It's figure 7.41, and 7.41 shows you the larval stage and the adult stage of a whole bunch of these invertebrate crustaceans. And if you take a look at that, then you'll see that the couple unique things. One is that the larval stage looks really different than the adult stage in most cases here. And then also that in some cases the larval stage, which can be free swimming, but the adult is sessile. And a perfect example of that is the barnacle right here. So barnacles. So see the cirri. So those are legs, actually legs, and those legs are modified to sweep the water. So they're appendages, and so we said the appendages have a bunch of different functions, and their function there is to sweep the water. And then notice on this one image here on the screen, right here, that you can see these plates right there. And the barnacles have these plates that they're able to pull in their cirri and then close those plates, and they're protected from predation. They're protected from desiccation. So when the tide goes out and the water, and now they're exposed to the air, they can close down, keeping the water inside of them, keeping their temperature maintained. Kind of cool, these barnacles. And then here we've got let's see, what is this guy? A lobster. So here's our lobster, and when you're looking at your lobster diagram, then I've given you a couple different examples of these decapods. Deca meaning 10 feet. So what you'll see is that they've got uropods, pleopods. So these hold the eggs. Here's going to be their little swimmerettes, how they're able to swim. Here are their walking legs, and then here's their claws, right here, and then their mouth parts. Very cool crustacean. But anyway, here you can see the abdomen, you can see the thorax, and you can see the head. So, let's see. I think as far as things go, that looks like a pretty good chunk for right now. So if you do your coloring sheets and you're reading the instruction packages that go along with those coloring sheets so that you can see the body parts, and read your textbook 7.6 through 7.7, I think, yep, 7. Sorry, did that wrong. It's 7.5 through 7.6. And you guys work on that, and then what I'm going to do is just keep looking for something more that we can do that makes sense, that's interesting, that's totally marine biology. But I hope you are well. I hope that your family is well. I hope you're getting some rest and not too stressed out. If any of this isn't coming through, or you're having a difficult time with any of this media, please contact me right away. I might have to refer you to someone at school if it's a media issue that I'm not capable of fixing. But if there's something that's not working with these videos, please don't hesitate to let me know. And I hope that you take care, and I'll check in with you again soon. Alrighty? Bye-bye.